those protests. Good afternoon, Manqoba. Let's get the latest from you out in Eldorado Park.
Well, Arabile, you recall that about an hour and a half ago, this particular stretch of the N12 freeway south of Johannesburg had been affected due to some of the burning tires that had been set alight here by some of the community members from Eldorado Park, which is just adjacent here from this particular freeway. But you recall, of course, that some of the waste workers had been deployed here to try and deal with that situation, to remove those burning tires from the freeway, to allow for traffic to be able to move smoothly through this freeway. And of course, as you can see behind me here, that particular stretch of freeway now has been open to traffic. Both the lanes have been open and traffic is able to move smoothly around this particular stretch of freeway. But of course, the police here also remaining in the area. I can see one police van stationed on this side where I'm standing, keeping an eye on developments here, hoping that there won't be a repeat of that incident that we saw here earlier on. But I must say, Arabile, that this particular protest has not been as large as the one that we've seen in Edendale this morning, because here in Eldorado Park, what we've seen over the past few minutes is just sporadic incidents that have taken place where tires have been burnt. But of course, we haven't seen a group of community members coming out in the streets or protesting per se. In fact, I spoke to one of the community members a short while ago, asking him why they have not responded to that call for a total shutdown in this area. And what he told me is that most of them had no idea that this was taking place, and that most people are simply going on with their lives. So at this stage, it seems, I'm not sure whether the message should not filter through properly to this community, or whether this community has just chosen not to be part of the protest. But what it seems as it's at this stage is that there are no major incidents that have been reported here, except for this blockage that happened here on the N12 earlier on.
Is perhaps a better sentiment to have that nobody's been hurt, there isn't a massive protest, but the concerns clearly are still there. Have you gotten any sense of the concerns that the Eldorado Park residents do have, and perhaps that they do share the sentiment despite not necessarily protesting as vehemently as those in Westbury or even in Edendale?
Indeed, Arabile, we've been hearing the same rhetoric that we've heard from the other communities, including Westbury, as well as the communities in the Cape Flats, and that is being the issue of the drug abuse in these communities. They're saying that it's rampant in these communities, that you find children as young as 9 years old abusing drugs, and they're saying that this issue has not been dealt with by authorities, instead saying that even police themselves are found to be in cahoots with some of these criminals, saying that the situation is it's such a dire situation now that these communities are fed up with the gangsterism that's happening because of the abuse of drugs in this community. They're saying that they are fed up with the crime that also goes with this drug issue that is here in the community, saying that most of the shootings that happen are usually because of incidents that involve the sale of drugs in this community. So this same rhetoric, basically the same sentiments we are hearing across these communities. And of course, one of them also, Arabile, is the fact that these communities saying that police are simply not doing enough. And they're saying that as colored communities, they feel neglected. They feel that they've been left out by government in terms of economic opportunities as well as development in their areas. And they're saying that it's time that this changes. They are sick and tired of these deaths that are happening in the communities. They are sick and tired of the drug abuse that are happening in this communities, and they want this situation to change. And they're saying that they want this marginalization, or what they so-called marginalization of colored communities, to end. And they're saying that they want this message to filter through to the president, saying that he must come and intervene in this serious and dire situation in these communities.
I wonder if the Minister of Police there, Begicele, will also be in such residents in order to help a hand as well, bring in that tactical response team as well. Manqoba Mchunu, please keep safe out there. We appreciate your work out in Eldorado Park. Moving on to